The first thing I want to talk about is what
Okay.
life would look like if you started approaching women seriously and consistently. So before I started to get results, it was this, it was pretty much a pain point in most men's lives, whether you know it or not. And I think a big part of being a man is learning how to get girls. Like everything we do, I feel like subconsciously deep down is to try to get girls. So a lot of people they go the route of, okay, well, I'm gonna work and make a lot of money, and they think that that's going to help them with women, and it might indirectly help them. But the problem with that route is you end up stressing yourself out so much to the point where you're not fun anymore. And then when you go out to get girls, you're so super serious. And then the fucking bartender or the DJ who's just fun smokes you. He makes you look like a tool. Now, now, am I saying having a bunch of money won't help? Of course not. You can buy a table, you can buy nice clothes, you can look good, but I find that only having money doesn't do anything for you unless you get like some gold digger chick, and that's never fulfilling. So,
Yeah.
another route people
Yeah.
think that will help them get girls is working out, like becoming jacked. And I think I would rather do the money route personally because when I first got out of my first relationship, I had um, did a bodybuilding challenge with a friend. I got down to 8% body fat. I was fucking shredded. My bench was pretty decent. I was strong. And I sucked with women. Like I hadn't approached in years. So when I went out to the club, do you think girls cared that I had 8% body fat? Do you think they looked at me through my clothes and said, "Oh, look at him. Look how lean he is. Look how good he looks." They don't give a fuck if you're not fun and you
Yeah.
don't have the charisma and you don't have non-neediness and you don't have self-amusement, like you can't amuse yourself and just be fun. So what I have found that working out, I see so many guys at the gym who are like Greek, they're like literally Greek gods, but they're in such a competitive mindset that even when I talk to them, it's not fun. And I'm like, yeah, the girl
Mhm.
might find you attractive for the first 10 seconds, but as soon as you bore her and as soon as she realizes that you're not that cool, like just as a person, she gets bored. So I
Mhm.
have found that the only way, in my own experience, to get better with women is to actually walk up and get a lot of fucking experience talking to them. And I don't know why this is so complicated, but if you read my YouTube comments, you would realize that most people don't get this. Most people don't understand this one thing. It's
Yeah.
like literally, hey, bro,
Yeah.
go talk to the girls. How do you get girls? Go talk to them.
Like, no, but you need to be like 5 foot or 6 foot something or whatever. Yeah, I've read the
Yeah.
comments. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Everyone wants to find out this angle or excuse or how do I get girls without talking to them and how many rejections should I actually get before I get better? It's like, bro, just stop thinking. See the girl there? Walk up and talk to her. And
Yeah.
I realize that most of the problem is social media and technology because now people can feel comfortable with staying. Bro, try turning off your TV, turning off your laptop, turning off your phone. Like, try doing it for 5 hours. Like, set a timer. I'm not going to use it for like 5 hours. At night,
Hmm.
you will be so fucking bored. I went a week without technology. Not on purpose. I lost my shit. And I was so bored. Even my TV didn't work. And I would literally just lay in bed. I read a book for like 2 hours. I read a whole two books in like a week. And then literally after like 2 hours of that, I'm like, bro, I'm going to the fucking bar. Like, I'm just gonna go talk to people because I'm so fucking bored. It's just human. It's natural instinct to want to walk
After
up and talk to people. Sorry, go ahead.
after 2 hours of not having devices.
Dude, I went a week without devices and it was just natural. Every single night, I just wanted to go out and talk to people. Like I would just go to my guest house. I would go to the kitchen area. I'm like, I wonder if anyone's up right now. Like I want to just talk to somebody. I just want to have some conversation. And it made it so much easier to approach. There was no such thing as approach anxiety. I genuinely believe this. I believe that our technology is what is holding most of us back from being social. Because now you can put a podcast on. It's almost like talking to
Really?
somebody. You can just stay inside. You can watch TV. You can distract yourself with work. You can do all of these things. with your devices. But it's like cope. If you didn't have these devices, you would eventually get bored and you would just go up and talk to people. Like you would eventually it's sad it's like this technology and social media and YouTube and all these things is a supplement for actual social interaction. But it's not real.
Yeah.
Not it's not going to fulfill you all the way. It's just going to like temporarily get rid of this pain. So now guys can go years without talking to girls, just have a little bit of social interaction, and they can literally go years. And I've done that too. I went a lot of my life without approaching. Like there have been many periods where I just stay inside and I distract myself with like YouTube videos and like work. And sometimes it's not even that productive. You're just bored. Like I really think technology
Yeah.
is holding us back the most. So you know what? It's funny now that I self-reflect. The way I got better with women, like when I actually started approaching, I always tell this story. It was after I broke my leg, and I broke my leg. Um, I had about a 3 month period where I couldn't really leave the house too much. I broke it over Christmas. I missed out on all the New Year's parties. I missed out on everything. And I was just at home for a long period of time in pain reflecting. And all I did was study. And it was really fucking boring, but it was good for me mentally because it made me self-analyze like what am I doing with my life? And after my leg started to heal, I remember being so thankful to just walk around campus that I just started approaching. Like I made it a goal of 5 approaches per day. And then that's how I got my first girlfriend. I started getting all these experiences. And the first initial, I would say 6 months to 1 year, if you just approach 5 to 10 girls per day, that's literally the most life-changing period of your life because that's when you're going to first get over rejection. That's when you're going to really unlock this natural charisma where you don't give a fuck what people think and you just say what you want. That's when you're going to get your first experiences where you're like, holy shit, like
Mhm.
I can actually get a girl that's hot that I like. Like, holy crap. After a while, you kind of get numb to it, or you need like a hotter girl and a hotter girl and a hotter girl to like actually feel like, wow, I got this
Yeah.
girl. But I remember in the beginning, I was just happy to talk to a girl. I was like, holy shit, I'm
Yeah.
doing it. I'm actually doing it. Like I'm not afraid. I was actually like super terrified, but I didn't let that stop me. So yeah,
Yeah.
and eventually with years of like consistent action, I got better. Honestly, this last year and a half have been the biggest leaps of growth because I've this last year I went out consistently every single week without fail. And that's when I'm starting to see like a lot of my personality change and a lot of who I am is changing. So I think it really does
And
take years, like years of consistent approaching. That's when you really get to see the fruits of your labor. Like yes, like 3 months is great. 6 months is even better. But like try 1 year of consistently approaching, like every single day, or at least every single week. That, bro, you will never ever get like, bro, you will reach heights you never thought possible. Like you'll talk to some girl who's just completely out of your league, and then the next thing you know, you're on a
Mhm.
date with her. You're not nervous because you've literally approached thousands of times. So now you're just like in your head, you're logically thinking like, why am I not nervous? This girl would usually intimidate the fuck.
Yeah.
And then, but like on the outside, you're like, I'm just calm because I'm used to it. I've gotten rejected. I've fumbled and failed. I've had some success. I know I can do this, and you just do it. So yeah, man, it's there's a lot to gain towards the end of the journey, or even in the middle of the journey of approaching women and getting better at it consistently. And it's almost like a gym habit. Like you see the guy who's jacked in the gym. That guy used to be skinny. Like everyone you see with this awesome
Mhm.
charisma and confidence, he had to build that. Whether he built it early on because of his parents or he built it on his own, he still had to build that. So even a nice body, you see a really jacked guy. Maybe he took steroids, who knows? But he still had to build it one way or another. So,
Yeah. How have you been changing recently?
ooh, that's a great
Like in
question.
this past 1 year and a half?
Man, I would say the biggest leap was about 2 months into the journey when I started, and I did this rejection challenge where I remember even when I started coaching it, I wasn't fully comfortable with owning the fact that I could walk up to a girl and just be that guy, that sheep. I feel like now I've entered the category of guy that the girl likes to fuck. And before I wasn't comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't really like even saying that would be like, ooh, the guy that she wants to. Now I'm just like, I'm the guy she fucks. And people can kind of feel that off of me. And even when a girl rejects me, or let's say we go on a date, but she can kind of tell that I'm not the guy that's going to commit, she'll still fuck me because she's like,
Hmm.
well, I've become the fuck boy in a sense. That's kind
Yeah.
of, but it's more so I've just become comfortable with my sexuality. Like I become very comfortable with the fact,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm an attractive guy and I can just kind of own it now. I would say there's still 10% of me that can't
Okay.
really own it, but
Yeah, yeah,
that's the main thing. Um, let's see what else. I'm able to read social cues a lot better. I think I didn't realize. I
yeah.
always thought I was pretty good with social cues. Like I was pretty good with reading people. Now I feel like I'm like two times better than when I started approaching about a year ago. Like I can really
Hmm.
read people well. Yeah, yeah.
That's
Another
cool.
thing, I feel like I'm also better at when I see somebody judging them based on their character and not how they look. Like seeing people, like some of the best looking
Okay.
people, guys and girls, and being like, let me wait, let me pause and see what they are like. And if
Hmm.
depending on their character traits, I'm going to judge them. Whereas before, if it was a hot girl, I just wanted to win her over. I didn't care. I didn't really think about it.
Yeah.
Now I've been through a lot of shit. I've met a lot of people who are just kind of shitty people, guys and girls who are like very attractive and
Hmm.
very cool. But then I realized that being cool and attractive doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you like a, good to be around. So it's made me realize, okay, well, let me discern, more discerning. Like, is this person cool? Now when I collaborate with people or I'm dating a girl, I'm like very, very, very discerning. I'm like, is this someone I even want around me? Whereas before I just wanted the
Hmm.
validation. I just wanted them, you know? So
Yeah, okay, so you're more picky.
a little bit more
Yeah.
picky. But it's come from experience of like just going through a lot of shit with people, you know? Like having people let me
Yeah.
down and all that stuff, you know? So yeah, yeah. Good question. Why most people can't start. Why they can't start. It's fear. It's fear of rejection. It's fear. Well, let's break that down. It's fear of their self-image. So I remember when I first started, when I was 19. When I was 18, I tried, but I couldn't. I would be crippled with fear. Like my hands would start shaking. I couldn't even think. My brain would just go blank. And the rejection felt like death. Like it felt like
Yeah.
what I knew to be true was true. You're not good enough. It shoved it in my face.
Hmm.
It wasn't until I could logically make the disconnect between my actual self-esteem and who I am as a person and my results that I was able to just get better. Because the truth is, when you start off, you are not good enough. You are just like when you start working out, you are not strong enough. But it doesn't mean you can't get there, it just means you're not there yet. It's kind of easy to
Yeah.
understand that, but when you first start off, the fear, I think, the fear that holds people back the most is number one, what do people think of me? What are people around me going to think? What is this girl going to think of me if I'm lame or if I fumble my words? And you're just afraid of what people think. And then number two, you're afraid of the negative emotions of not feeling good enough that are going to arise. And what I've realized is there's a lot of actually really cool dudes like yourself, like a lot of people in the community who are, some of them are even tall and good looking that can't seem to rip the band-aid off. And it's interesting because I'm like, this guy is like really genuinely cool, like farther ahead of most guys, and he just can't seem to approach. Well, it's because of that fear of just like the ego getting crushed. It's like there's this fragile ego,
Yeah.
and they don't want it to get crushed. And I think the only way to get through it, honestly, is to just crush it. You just got to crush it. It's like ripping the band. That's why I say ripping the band-aid off. It's like it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
on the
yeah.
other side of that pain, it's like, holy crap, this fear was irrational. It's almost like jumping off the cliff, where you're afraid to jump off the cliff, and you just do it, and you're like, I'm not afraid anymore. And now every time you jump off the cliff, cliff again, you'll still have a little bit of fear, but you'll know logically, like I've jumped off this cliff before and I know I survived. So I can just do it. So it's like always that
Yeah.
first initial part that holds people back. Um, and then a big problem with a lot of people is that they don't feel sex worthy. Like what I was explaining before, they don't feel like they're that guy that the girl likes to fuck. And they have no reason to feel like it either. They don't have any experience. They don't know what they would do if they got a girl. They're awkward as fuck. And it's just the reality is they aren't the guy that the girl likes to fuck yet. They have to become that guy. So it's
Yeah.
the fear of being like being hyper aware of doing a bunch of approaches and realizing that I'm not the guy that girls like yet, and I have to make it there, and it's going to be hard. So a lot of guys cope with that just by being super friendly and super nice. That's why like people like guys become nice guys, and they become what you would call like a white knight,
Hmm.
where they're just like super nice, and they think that getting friend zoned is going to help them get the girl. Now, it might help a little bit because you will get some social
Yeah.
interaction just by being nice, but it's not going to get you to that next level. Um, and honestly, the only way out is through. That's a saying my mentor used to say all the time. It's like the only way out is through. It's reps. That's why I like to break this down to reps. Like a lot of girls,
The only
yeah, girls will always
oh,
ask me like, "Do you just see everything as a number? Like, why do you
I'm gonna
see all
write
the?"
that down.
Yeah, dude. Do you see all the girls? Do you see all the girls you talk to as a number? Like, why do you focus so much on the number? And I'm like, because it's all reps. It's all like, dude, if you could just break it down to it's the same thing in the gym. Like if you're not strong and you want to get strong, you're not there yet. Well, you just do reps, 4 sets of
Mhm.
10 at this weight, and you just do challenges. And that's to me, that's the fastest way out is through reps. So you want to I say break away from social conditioning. Something I must mention, and this is something that I actually have realized is approaching women and what we're doing is actually very strange, even though it's not. Because there's another saying that my
Yeah.
mentor is such a G. Goddamn, I always repeat him. The only thing weirder than learning how to get better with women is not knowing how to get women. It's like, well, pick your fucking poison. Because if you think about it,
Yeah.
when I think of a guy who doesn't know how to get girls, he's the guy at the club. Like last night, there's this guy who walks up to me when there's a bunch of group of girls that we're kind of talking to, and he walks up to me and he says, "Hey man, are these your girls?" I'm like, "No, we're just talking. Can I talk to him? Can I talk to her? Like, maybe you should." No, no. He said, "Can I dance with her?" In the most creepy way. It's like, bro, we don't even know you. I'm like, bro, you're creepy. No, you can't. In my head, I'm thinking that. And then I'm like, well, why don't you ask her? He's just like, oh no, 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 I wouldn't do that. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, what's going on? You become that guy. You become the guy who doesn't know what he's doing, and he just comes off weird as fuck. That same guy will
Yeah.
see what I'm doing. He will see my channel. Bro, it's so weird. Why would you need to approach every day? Blah, blah, blah. He would just fucking hate on it. And I get so many hate comments. The
Yeah.
same guy who's weird
Yeah.
as fuck in the club and doesn't know how to talk to a girl will judge us learning how to talk to a girl. It's like the same guy who knows that
Yeah.
I'm trying to compare this to the gym, but I'm not going to. I always like to compare it to the gym, but it's like it's hypocritical. So social conditioning
Yeah.
tells you, oh, I should be good with girls right now. You should just naturally know it. Your dream girl's waiting on you. Love will be there in your life. Just wait. Don't change. Be yourself. Life is good. The right one will come for you. Girls will literally say this to you. They will literally say it to you. 10 years later, and I have the
Yeah.
they
Okay.
will.
They
They
do.
will. They're like, well, don't try too hard. Just be yourself. It's all bullshit. Because in a
Yeah.
girl's reality, that is true. In a guy's reality, that is not true. Because girls are born with inherent value because they're beautiful, and guys aren't. It's just that simple. And girls can't understand that. A lot of girls, and to be fair, we probably don't understand a lot of girls' problems. But girls don't understand this about men. So
Yeah.
they don't understand that you have to better yourself. And yeah, yeah, it's I'll have a lot of people who will reach out to me at like 30, 35, and this confirms it for me, who are like, dude, I was in like a 5, 6, 7 year long relationship. I just haven't ever approached ever. And now I'm 35 or 30. and I need,
Mhm.
I'm really trying to get started now. I'm trying to learn. Like they were like, dude, I'm just tired of not having the success. So basically, you can wait until you're 30,
Yeah,
35 to not have this. You're 18, bro. You're so early, which is amazing. You could literally wait till you're 30, 35 and just realize that, okay, I suck with women. I need to fix this now. And even if you start at 30, it's still not the end of the world. Like you're still 30, you know? That's the
yeah,
only good thing about being a guy is we kind of we level up towards the end. We level up a little slower, but it takes us time, but we get there. All right, so let's talk number
yeah.
4, action plan. It's really simple. Like all of this was to lead up to the most simple, basic answer, which is 5 approaches per day. 2 women, preferably with intent. It will eventually level up to an intent. Intent being like, hey, I just want to say you're beautiful, like letting it be known that you think she's attractive. And this will start to kill these limiting beliefs that you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to be that guy that walks up to the girl and calls her attractive and tries to seduce her. So you'll start to kill those limiting beliefs. I think 5 a day is the magic number. That's 35 approaches per week.
Hmm.
It's not a lot when you do it, but it feels like a lot before you start. I remember when I first started, 5 a day felt like a lot because every single approach feels intense.
Right.
So you're really like, and I recommend doing them all back to back too, not like spacing it out, just like you want to do it back to back, ride the momentum from each approach because you'll do one, and the hard part is just getting that first one over with, and then you can just do the rest and it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you'll be
I
warmed
had to
up.
get started with two back then.
Yeah, dude, 5 a day, man. It desensitizes you. And if it's really hard for you, you can start off friendly. Like you don't have to show intent right away. You can just do friendly
Yeah, yeah,
approaches. You can even start off with approaching anyone, like the old lady, the fucking guy, the bro. Doesn't matter, because that still helps. If you're at that point where you
yeah,
can't approach a girl, like it's genuinely just too much for you, I think it would be better to desensitize even to approaching girls and showing intent. But eventually you do have to progress. It's like if you want to get big in the
mhm,
gym and you stay at the same weight, you won't get big in the gym. You got to level up the weight. You got to like put more weight on. I think one of the easiest ways to do this is to find a wingman, by the way. I think this is another fastest way to level up. Finding a wingman.
hmm,
Um, Genuinely. You won't have anything level you up faster. The problem is, like we said, 99% of guys don't do this kind of thing. So it's hard to find a wingman.
yeah,
You can either find a guy who's into the approach content, who kind of wasn't good with girls and had to learn the hard way. I find that these kind of guys are the best guys to go out with because they know how to get through a bad night and they know how to deal with negative emotions better. Or you can find what you would call a natural, just a random Chad who likes to go out and talk to women. It will be harder to approach with him because he's a natural. He won't be able to talk about
yeah,
these things. He won't really understand it logically. He's just the guy that girls like to fuck, and he goes out and he talks to women naturally.
yeah,
You can go out with these kind of guys as well. I find that these guys, I don't know, they don't make for the best long-term wingmen, but let's say you're at the club alone or you're at a bar and you see a guy approaching women, you're like, okay, this guy's cool. I can
hmm,
see it. Like he's talking to
yeah,
girls.
yeah,
Well, let me approach with this guy. So yeah, man. Last point here. Start now. It's like there's no reason not to start if you're above 18. If you're 18 or above, you can start now. I started at 19. I got results. I'm happy I started at 19. I wish I would have started at 18. So there's no reason not to start now. There's no reason you can't get girls right now. You're old enough to die for your country. You're old enough to get girls. There's no reason. So there's no reason that at 18 you can't be sex worthy. That you can't be that guy who's charismatic. It's going to be harder for an 18-year-old when you're 22, 23, and if you let's say you approach the next 5 years consistently. When you're like 23,
hmm,
bro, you're going to be like, it's kind of nice being 23. Like I'm old enough to be smart, young enough to have fun. It's nice. It's that sweet spot, perfect age. Even 27 is pretty decent, but I think 23 is a bit better. Like 23, man, I wish I would have taken advantage of it. There were many years of my life. I was in a relationship for 3 years during the peak years of my life. Many years of my life
hmm,
wasted because I was not as focused. Like I wish I would have. It would have just been fun, man, to be 22 approaching for 5 years consistently. I would have been so good. Then you can pull all the college baddies, but you can also pull the girls that are a little older than you because you just grow your beard out and look a little older. It's like, bro, the age 5 years from where you're at now is going to be, you're going to be like, bro, you're going to be having a lot of fun. I'm 27. I'm still young, but I'm about to hit that age at like 30, 35, where it's like, do I really want to be in the club? You know, late. Do I now I
Yeah.
kind of want to start a family? It's like, it's not the same. So now is the
Yeah.
time. Now's the time to enjoy this shit, to learn it before you do start to get these thoughts of like, okay, when should I settle down? Because you're 18, I never had those thoughts. Like, when should I settle down? Who gives a fuck? Have fun. When you hit 27 and then 30, you'll start to think these thoughts of like, okay, do I want kids? You know, if you want kids, then maybe I should find a good woman and blah blah blah. Good woman, I can't approach as much. I probably can't approach at all. Who knows? I don't fucking know. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm gonna live my life differently than most men, though. I probably I'm gonna. There's some open-minded chicks out there. They'll let me approach. They don't care.
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, man. Confidence is a skill. Approaching is a skill. Rejection doesn't define who you are as a person, and massive action solves everything. That's pretty much it. Thank you for listening, sir. That was good.